If you were to hit the reset button on the NFL and redraft the 2017 draft from scratch, Patrick Mahomes might be the number one overall pick. He's already proven to be a generational talent and a future all-time great just 4 years into his NFL career. Although everyone now agrees Mahomes is one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. He wasn't even the number one overall pick in his draft class. In fact, 9 teams passed on the Texas Tech gunslinger before the Chiefs stole him with the 10th pick. Now, who were the 9 teams who passed up on Patty Mahomes? Let's begin with the Cleveland Browns, who had the number one pick that season after going 0-16, which they had no quarterback play. Cleveland knew they had to knock the number one pick out of the park, and that's exactly what they did with Myles Garrett. Garrett was widely considered the best player in the 2017 draft class, and he's already become one of the top pass rushers in the league. Browns fans wouldn't mind having Mahomes under center instead of Baker Mayfield, but Garrett is a fine consolation prize. Next up is the team who probably regrets all time not drafting Mahomes, and that is the Chicago Bears. The Bears came into the 2017 NFL Draft in dire need of a franchise quarterback. That's what Chicago thought when it got Mitchell Trubisky, but Mahomes went off the board 8 picks later, and you could feel Chicago's pain. The San Francisco 49ers had the 3rd pick. Solomon Thomas was thought to be a promising prospect out of the University of Stanford in 2017. The 6'2", 280-pound monster was unstoppable off the edge in college and showed flashes of elite athleticism throughout his career. But 4 seasons into the NFL, Thomas has recorded only 16 tackles for loss and 6 sacks in 48 games. Can you say ouch? 4th on the draft was the Jacksonville Jaguars, and they went with a running back, and I'm talking about Leonard Fournette. Looking back on his selection, it's hard to knock the Jaguars. Fournette was considered one of the best running back prospects of the decade coming out of LSU. His elite mix of power and speed made him a can't-miss selection in the 2017 draft. Fournette rushed for over 1,000 yards in both of his healthy seasons with the Jaguars, but he's since moved on to greener pastures with Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, where he won his first Super Bowl title. 5th on the clock that year was the Tennessee Titans. In 2017, the Titans were desperate need of a number 1 wide receiver to pair with running back Derrick Henry. Tennessee was committed to quarterback Marcus Mariota, and after drafting him 2nd overall in 2015, so they didn't even look to replace him with the 5th pick. The Titans have since found a competent quarterback in Ryan Tannehill, but it's safe to say they'd rather have Mahomes 100 times out of 100. The New York Jets had the 6th pick, and this one still stings for Jets fans. New York decided to pass on a quarterback in 2017 because the team believed the 2018 quarterback class had a more promising QB for them than anyone left on the board. How did that work out? Yeah, that one's pretty bad. The LA Chargers had the 7th pick in 2017. The Chargers have found their franchise quarterback in Justin Herbert, so this pick doesn't hurt as much as it does for other teams, but they still could have gotten a bigger bang for their buck that draft. Mike Williams is a solid deep threat who can make game-changing plays down the field, but he hasn't lived up to the hype of a top 10 pick. That season, the 8th pick went to the Carolina Panthers, and they might be the only team from the 2017 draft that doesn't regret their selection. They selected running back Christian McCaffrey, who is arguably the most dangerous offensive weapon in the NFL 4 seasons into his career. He had an injury-riddled 2020-2021 season, but he should be back to his old self next season. And finally, with the number 9 pick was the Cincinnati Bengals. John Ross just hasn't been able to stay on the field 4 seasons into his NFL career, and he hasn't even been productive when he is in uniform. Cincinnati made amends for passing on Mahomes by grabbing Joe Burrow in the 2020 draft, but trust me, they would rather have Patrick Mahomes over anybody else.